Good morning, everyone. Welcome. I'm here at the last minute, it seems. So what I'm thinking, you can see the color starting to happen in the sky, and I want to include it obviously, which means a wide angle lens. So I'm going to change to my wide angle lens and start to look for a composition really quick. Behind me you can see that there are some grasses growing in the water, and my first impression was that that was looking pretty interesting. So I'm thinking that I could perhaps use that. So my wide angle lens is the Nikon Z50 14-30 f4. Let's see what we can find. Oh yeah, it's looking interesting. And what I want to do with the wide angle lens here is to really distort the foreground, make it more impactful than what it is in reality. What I'm trying to do is to balance out the elements that I have in the foreground. Let me see if I can show you really quick. I want to be kind of... So as you can see here, this is what we have in the foreground. The sky is kicking off really good, so I want to find something really quick, but just want to show you that this line of rock is something that I have to work with, because if I frame up something like this, I get it down in the corner there and I don't want it, so I have to get further out and frame something up. I'm thinking something along this line. It's using this grass here as a leading element going straight into the sun. So I'm going to frame something up like this really quickly and we'll see how it works out. I can already see that the light is starting to dissipate, but I want to put on a filter. Let me just bring you a little bit closer. Oh, this is live vlogging or something. Let's see. All right then. I want one filter in about a, let's see, not a 10 stop. Actually, I think something, well, a 6 stop might smooth it out very much. It's quite windy today. Is this the, yeah, it's a 6 stop. Well, let's see. Let's try 60 seconds, just as once, get something off before the colors disappear completely. And the real challenge of the day, so to say, is the wind. It's giving nice, smooth texture out in the water for me with the long exposure, and that gives it a more calm, tranquil feel in the image, which I love. But the foreground here, the grass in the foreground, will probably be a bit blurry, so I'm gonna see when this image is done, or well, when the long exposure is done, if I could grab a quicker exposure, or what I could do is wait for the light to get a little bit brighter. So when the ambient light gets a bit brighter, grab an image of that when I have more light, and that would give me the possibility to just color match it with one of my previous images and then just paint it in without increasing my ISO to astronomical levels. I can see on the exposures that I've already taken that those grasses are indeed blurry from motion. But that 60-second exposure also gives me a bit of it's smoothing out the sky a little bit, but I think I've lost the best of the light already. So that's it for the sky exposures. Just loving the magnetic filters. Makes everything so quick and easy. And what I'm also going to do actually is to refocus on the closest thing here in the foreground. Then try to bring it up. Let's see. ISO 400. Let's go with that. It's always a game, this trying to capture when the wind is still as well. So I'm just gonna try to get that last frame, and then this image is done. Yeah, that's that image done. And what I can see now is that the sun is going up right there. I'm gonna change to a long lens, and I have an isolated tree in the background there. And I'm gonna see if I can frame something up with that. Just a quick idea that I got seeing the sun rising there. Let's see. The wind is making it a bit colder, so I'm using my big gloves. The long lens I'm using is a Nikon Z mount 24-200. It gives me a long, really long, nice range. That idea didn't really work out. The problem is having a lens like this that zooms out, or the outer part of the lens gets grabbed in the wind and starts to vibrate. So photographing long focal lengths when it's windy becomes very difficult. Also, the sun went into a cloud, which doesn't really make any of it easier. I'm gonna look around a little bit here and see if I can find anything else, and I'll get back to you if I do, or when I do, or what I do. I can't really find anything more at this location. The sun went into a big cloud there, and the light turned very flat. And flat light in a open area like this, that is more of a grand or a scenic landscape, isn't really working all that well. So what I'm gonna do is head into the forest again. It was a bit calmer with the wind there, and hopefully, considering that and the flat light, at least the trunks of the trees are more stable, and perhaps I could find something and use something with that. It could be interesting to have use the stillness of the trunks of the trees, and then just having all the branches moving, having a real long exposure, and just blur all of that out and give a contrast between the stillness of the trunks and the movement of the branches and the vegetation around it. So that is an idea. Not sure if I'm gonna find anything or if it's even gonna work if I do. But that's the reason for experimenting, seeing if something works or if it doesn't work. Let's head into the woods and take the tripod with me, I suppose. I have found something interesting, I think. So I'm first gonna grab an image here, just with a fast exposure. And the branches are, of course, getting blurred out because of the wind. It is a lot calmer here inside the forest, but of course the wind is still pushing through and blowing the branches. Right now it's quite still actually, but well, I'm gonna try the concept that I talked about and try to blur everything out. So I'm gonna go up to f16, which would give me perhaps 1/4 of a second. You know what, first, before I even take the image, let me show you the composition. So, the idea of the composition is, let me just actually stop down for you and increase the ISO instead. So that branch and that branch up there, those are the two interesting parts for me in the composition. And then we have the tree right there, and since the video is recording in 16:9, I'm having a little bit more on the sides included as well. And then I'm going to crop it on the top, crop it on the bottom, probably so I include just a little bit of this rock face right there, and I'm not going to include the branch up there. I'm going to crop that out and just focus basically on those two. And then we have the forest continuing behind, but it isn't really all that busy. I've tried to frame it up in a way that it implies the continuation of the forest behind it. But I really like those branches, and I'm going to try to see if those can perhaps stand still while everything around it moves, and we'll see how that looks. So let's try that. It looks pretty interesting actually when the branches are all blurred out, the pines, the green pines surrounding it. But one issue is that I'm just gonna grab my gloves. One issue is that the bigger branches are moving a little bit as well. So yeah, I'm not sure. Actually, I'm gonna try even further. F22, 15 seconds. Now it's a little bit windy. It might be that a too long shutter speed is going to kind of make everything too blurry, so it just mushes everything out and you can't really see the movement that I want to show. In that case, I'm just gonna have to back down. And yeah, the problem is that all of the image is getting blurred since there's a little bit of movement even in the thicker branches. The best image so far is the one on 4 seconds. So timing that with a bit more movement would perhaps be good. So the way that I ended up grabbing this image was that I did a focus bracket across the scene on a faster shutter speed to be sure to grab the thicker branches when they are sharp. So I waited for the wind to calm down, grabbed a series of images well, on different focal planes, and then stacked them together in Photoshop. And then I waited for the wind to blow up again, and I was experimenting a little bit with different shutter speeds and how it looked in the branches. And I was ending up at shutter speed at around 3 seconds on the branches, just to get movement but not just destroy all of the detail or the conception of what it actually is, the pines moving. So still showing the movement and not just blurring everything out, basically. 3 seconds was the best for that today. And yeah, I think that intro image turned out really good. Obviously, I haven't done everything that I said I did, because I'm still out in the field and not home at my computer, so I haven't done anything in Photoshop yet. I haven't seen how it comes together, but yes, I think it turned out great. I think it will turn out great when I stack everything together. It's an interesting concept, and just being able to execute it is a challenge in itself, and I'm just satisfied with actually being able to do it after having the idea just a few minutes ago down by the water. So now I'm gonna pack the camera down and hike a little bit further. It's getting a bit cold, so hiking a bit faster, getting up my body warmth, and meanwhile looking at other interesting compositions here in the forest. You never know what to find, you never know. So, I've been hiking around for a bit. My body is warm. I've even eaten breakfast, and I'm feeling pretty good. But with the flat light that we're having now and the wind that is pushing through, even though it's not that bad here in the forest, I find it difficult to find any composition. And yeah, I'm basically just gonna call it right here. So I'm really happy with what I got out of today. A really quick image during sunrise, which I think turned out really good. And then a really interesting concept image of the wind blowing through the forest. So really happy with that. I'm not at all dissatisfied with the fact that I didn't find anything else in the wood. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. If you want to see more, remember to subscribe, leave a like on the video if you liked it, share this video with someone who will also enjoy it, and I'll see you all soon again. Until next time, goodbye.